Hey, aloha, everybody. How we doing? Sorry for the little bit of a late start. We're having some technical issues getting Nick on here. So everybody, hey, let me find here we go. Cool. Hey, aloha, everybody. Sorry, we're having some technical difficulties. So Nick is trying to make his way on. Awesome. Hey, Susan. Aloha, Susan. Good. We got some questions coming in. Awesome. I may be manning this show alone. Hopefully not, but we'll see if Nick can get on here soon. Hey, aloha, Ann. I see Cameron's on here. Aloha, Ron. Sweet. Super glad you guys are all here. We got some good things coming up for you guys today. So some things to chat about. We'll get to your questions as well. First off, though, I want to give let's see, where are they at? Hold on one second here, guys. Here we go. I want to give a shout out to our San Diego Sharks. So Don and Jeff, really excited to get to hang out with you guys in San Diego. It was an awesome time. We appreciate you taking time out to come and hang with us. We got to buy them lunch, talk to them about what they got going on in their businesses. It was really awesome. So hopefully Nick and I will be making some more trips around, and if we're in your area, we'll let you know so we can hang out with some other Sharks. We love doing that. But I wanted to give a big shout out to you guys first. So I see Nick is still working on getting on here. All right. So a couple things. Oh, I do have another shout out to Zachary Smooth. Zachary, man, I saw your post in the Facebook group about the app and what you have going on there. That is like so awesome. It seems like we talk about you every week because you're just out there freaking taking action and killing it. So big shout out to Zachary. Way to go, man. Good luck on that. I hope it all works out for you with that deal. Really awesome. Let's see. I'm going to go back here and maybe answer a couple questions. Oh, here. I think I can leave that there. There we go. All right. So, Ann, I see your question here. It says, is the Authority Site Business Import available as a standalone product? So, Ann, it's not. That particular plugin and piece of software only works with our influencer theme, just so you know. So, and that's because of the design and things like that. So, awesome. Hey, aloha, Terry. Aloha, Janice. It's just me right now. Nick's having some technical difficulties, but we're working on getting in there. Yeah, Ron says Zach is the man. He is the man. Like, he's doing a lot of stuff. Let's see. Susan, I see your question here. So we're going to take questions on the call too. I also have some things for us to talk about as well. Just trying to buy a little time. So hopefully Nick gets on here before we can start going into that stuff. So Susan Palin says, my question is for real estate agents. Should they have a personal Google My Business page using a home address or the real estate company address? With multiple agents, how many can use the company address? Susan, that's a great question. So, Google My Business really wants you to have different addresses. Like, you don't have to show your address on your listing. Like, they could put in their home address and then just do it like a service business would, where they select a service area, right? And then their address won't show on there. But they'll have their home address in there. So that's probably what I would have them do. Unless the real estate agency, like if the broker that the firm they belong to, they could create multiple listings, but I think they need an address for everybody. So I think my best thoughts on that right now are that you would have them use their home address and set it as a service area so their address doesn't show. Awesome. That's a great question, by the way. Hey, aloha, Andre. Aloha, Tammy. Tammy's in Orlando. Sweet. Nick's going to be down in Orlando, I think December 10th or the 15th, somewhere around there. He's going to post something in the groups, maybe hook up with some Sharks down in the Orlando area. So that's cool. He's not. I know. I just saw him. He's not skiing. He's actually here trying to get on. Hey, there you are. People are like, he's probably skiing.
No. I don't know what it was. My computer started acting up or something like that. Ron says I'm on the slopes in Denver. Not yet, Ron. Actually, I'm gonna go tomorrow though, hopefully.
That's cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I did while you were getting organized there, I did a couple little quick shout outs. I did some shout outs to our San Diego Sharks, Jeff and Don. I did a shout out to Zachary Smoot because I saw what he's been doing in the Facebook group with his app and all that stuff. And he's kind of been keeping us updated on that. So good job there. And answered a couple little quick questions. And then I thought we could just kind of start with some of the things I have lined up for us to talk about, if that's good with you.
Yeah, awesome. Another win that Zachary had is Zach just got a client too, which was like killer because I know he was going through, he lost one lead, but now he got another one and they're actually paying him. So, and a little monthly recurring retainer as well. So that's a huge win, right?
Big win.
Yeah.
Anytime you get money coming in, that's a big win, right?
Right.
Awesome.
Yeah, I agree.
Cool. So while you're doing that, I did want to
figure out my volume situation here real quick.
Sure. I did also want to point out in the Offline Sharks main Facebook group, there was a great tip in there from Judy Parsons, and I just wanted to kind of point it out in case people missed it. It was actually has to do with citations, and for those of you that maybe don't do local SEO, citations are like your name, address, and phone number on. They're kind of like a backlink, right? They help your Google My Business listing rank higher when you have good citations. And Judy pointed out that she had set up, so she had found a citation for her business on the Better Business Bureau, and it wasn't a paid one, which those can get kind of pricey. It was just a free one. But she adjusted her address on there to make it match, what was on her website and her other citations. And like within a couple days, she was showing up in the 3-pack right in the top. And so she wanted to point out to people, like, if you don't have a listing on the Better Business Bureau, that's a great citation and it looks good for your business and your agency. It gives you that kind of authority and credibility, which we've been talking a lot about this week, right? How do you, when you're out there prospecting, like one of the things, when you're prospecting is you have to have that credibility and authority or the appearance of it, right? So especially when you're in the digital space, because you don't have a storefront and all those things, and anything you can do to prop that up is really good, and a listing on the BBB is a good way to do that. So I just wanted to point that tip out. You can find it inside the Offline Sharks group. It's a great one.
Yeah, there's 2 levels of those citations actually. There's a free one where you can get that BBB, and there's also a paid one where they give you like some other backlinks too, a little stronger of a backlink, more juice. And I've noticed that I've actually had sites that were ranking well, but there were people ranking ahead of me, and looking at their, like doing some backlink analysis on their profile, right? Looking at my competition, I've noticed a few times where the only strong backlink going to them and not us was a Better Business Bureau link. So I would agree that, it is a powerful link. I've seen it firsthand when doing some backlink analysis and comparison to like what I'm doing and what, or what I'm doing with the client site and what their competitors are doing. So yeah, it's a good one indeed.
Yeah, and I think the paid ones, Tammy said in her post, I think some of the paid ones start at like $600 or something like that. So that, if you have the budget for it, that's great. But she's also getting traction with the free one, which is good to know. I see Tammy Lee Kern says she just got 5 leads today. Way to go, Tammy. Man, that is awesome.
Wow.
I love seeing
Where
stuff
did those
like
come
that.
from?
Yeah, Tammy, where'd you get those leads? Ron also had a comment about we had a question about a real estate agent and their address earlier, and Ron said the home address works better for the real estate agents because they tend to move from agency to agency. Yeah, that's a good point, Ron. Ron says he loves your video series, Nick.
Thank you, Ron. I appreciate that. I'm actually working on a couple of videos right now, so we got some good stuff coming out.
Yeah. Awesome. Hey, aloha, Ian. Sweet. Cool. Yeah, Tammy, put in the comments. Let us know how you generated those leads. I'm sure other sharks would be interested to know that as well. So let's talk a little bit about what's going on where is my little boy? I'm so like new to using these banners. It's like, what?
You can also click on the comments from people as they come in and you can throw them up on the screen.
Oh, cool. Let's do that with here. Yeah, there you go. There we go. Hey, look there. Tammy, 5 leads. Awesome. That is so awesome. So awesome. One of the things that we wanted to talk a little bit about today is, local search and doing SEO and stuff is kind of like a foundation in a lot of stuff we do. It's it gets kind of a bad rap, but it's a great service for reoccurring, and people really are starting to realize that they need it. I mean, the digital space is so crowded these days, even in small areas, that it's important for people to have that all together. But something that's new that kind of just rolled out from Google lately in search is their update called BERT. Nick, you maybe want to talk a little bit about what BERT is and anything you've seen with it?
Sure. Wow. You love putting me on the spot, huh?
Yeah, you're on.
So BERT, I'm not going to pretend to know all the ins and outs of BERT. But what I do know, the most important pieces that I took away from some articles and resources that I've read is that they are Google's seeing a huge increase in voice search type queries, right? Like people have their Siri or Alexa and different tools that they can use to, ask for results in certain instances. So the way that the search engines take those queries and send them out to bring back results is different than when you would type something in for, say, roofing company on Maui, right? I mean, for example, if I'm at my computer and I want to find a roofing company, I would probably into Google. For using something like Alexa, I would say, hey Alexa, who is the best roofing company on Maui? Well, those queries, right? One is 2 words, one is 5 or 6 or 7 words, I don't know. But the main thing with BERT is they're now looking at that data and making changes because they see this as an area of growth, right? They see these types of search queries being something that's growing. It's a trend. And so they've, changed their algorithm to include that into it. Now, if anybody is, following along with the Shark Alliance SEO type training that, in the academy or anything that we teach in any of our stuff, you should be doing great when it comes to this, because we always talk about optimizing for long tail keywords, especially at the entry level when we're just getting into a market. We do the long tail, we start to rank for those long tail, and that helps us to get a higher position with our supporting keywords, which are the more difficult ones. So I've seen personally with client sites, my own sites, that these long tail type keywords and with the rollout of BERT, I've seen better ranking, not any like drop off in ranking. So anybody that's following along with those strategy, you'll be stoked to know that you're doing good. And if you're not, go ahead and check that area of your members area out, and you can follow along and follow that ranking strategy as it is. That's
really awesome. Yeah, I know BERT's kind of the thing people are talking about, and I think voice search, I mean, that's not going anywhere, right? That's only going to get more prominent, it's just going to get more traction as more of the, Facebook's now bringing out like all these companies are bringing out devices that do that kind of stuff. Alexa, now I saw just the other day, they have Alexa for your car. Like I mean, that
Right.
that is just going to continue to grow and become a prominent part. So good to make sure that you're working that into what you're currently doing, so you're not behind when that just kind of hits, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know.
And it's,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Nick.
I was just going to say that it is, it's important to stay ahead of these trends, right? And if you, sometimes we're ahead of them, like in this case with what we're doing, and sometimes they make a change where we're not ahead of them, right? Where it could hurt you. Like, let's say we weren't optimizing for these things, or, in the past they've done things like, change their algorithm to be more difficult to rank for certain niches. And if you would have included some information about that niche on your site in your content, you would have potentially been dropped in ranking. So sometimes good, sometimes bad, right? I think the important thing with SEO, though, at least how I feel, because there's, people talk about white hat SEO, which is not doing anything against Google's terms, and gray hat and black hat. And black hat is obviously things that are like super suspicious. Whatever I do, especially for my client sites, I always try to keep it white hat, because long term, like that's going to be good, right? You're gonna have these algorithms happen, and if you've been doing anything shady, you'll probably get hit pretty hard, and you're gonna have to go tell that to your clients, why. But if you're just following along, doing things like you should, getting backlinks from sites, doing outreach and guest posting and things like that, chances are when algorithms roll out, you're probably going to be in a better scenario, and things are going to look up for you. So there's two ways of doing it, really, and one is more short-sighted and one is more long-term oriented. So
yeah, that's awesome. Well, there were a couple of other things that really kind of caught my eye in kind of local search and what was going on. One of them too was like a thing about reviews. So there was a San Francisco-based marketing company, and they did this comprehensive study of 64,000 Google My Business profiles, and their whole goal was just to see like what impact do reviews have on that, right? And so one of the things that they saw is like people posting reviews had a huge impact, right, on how their GMB listing was ranked. And then it wasn't just them getting reviews, it was also the business owners taking action to respond to the reviews. That boosted things as well, right? So if you have clients out there that are generating reviews for their Google My Business listing, if they're not, one, they should be doing that, right? So that could be a foot in the door strategy, something you start reaching out to people about. Are you driving reviews to your GMB listings page, right? The second part is should be responding to those reviews as well, right? And so I know sometimes, we get negative reviews on GMB pages, and, owners and business owners especially should respond to those, but there's some tips and some things that you should probably pass on to your clients, or if you're responding for them, you should do. One is when somebody posts a negative review, just don't go right into rage mode and blasting the person. Like when you respond, you want to be responsive and thoughtful, right? You want to be professional. You want to be kind. You want to make an effort to fix what's broken, right? Like really look at their feedback and really, have your client look at their business and be like, hey, well, is this really an issue, right? Like sometimes we just put that automatic reflex up to be like, they don't know what they're talking about, when maybe it's an issue that the owner needs to be aware of, right? When you do those responses, you can, one, the owner should, acknowledge the issue and apologize, right? Maybe make an effort to fix what's broken, explain how they fixed it. Like, hey, we realize that was an issue. This is what we've done to correct it, right? And maybe even offer to do something nice for that person that left that negative review. Like, hey, reach out to us. We'd like to make this right. We can discuss some alternatives. So those are some good tips and things that business owners can do when they're responding to these reviews, or you can do if you're responding for your clients. But getting those responses in there really has a positive impact on your GMB listing and what you're doing there as well. Another thing that I saw that pertains to local search is Google put up a video recently. and we're going to get to the comments here in a second. I'm going to post this in the comments, but I thought this is pretty nifty. They actually did a video in their webmaster section on site speed. And I think if you guys are using our Speed Sniffer software, or you're using speed as a foot in the door, you might want to go take a look at that video. It's really good. I don't know why the guy's wearing a wig at the start of the video. It's pretty crazy. But it's John Mueller, and they do a whole little video on site speed, what SEOs need to know. So that can give you some good talking points and ammunition if you're using that as an outreach service. So I'd definitely go take a look at that. I dropped the link in the comments for you guys. And by the way, site speed, we get this question, like we had this question a couple times in the past week. Is SSL still a good foot in the door service to go after? Is site speed still a good, foot in the door service to go after? And the answer is yes. Like, one of the things Nick and I try to focus on are, areas that aren't just going to go out of style, right? Like when we look at developing a foot in the door strategy around something, we take a look at that, whatever it is, and say, okay, well, is this something that's like a flash in the pan, or is this something that doesn't look like it's going to go anywhere and actually may become more and more important as time goes on? SSL and site speed are they both fit that criteria. They're not going anywhere, right? And even with site speed, just securing someone's site, just getting SSL installed is really just the start, right? You also need to evaluate your site and see if there's any unsecure content anywhere on there and clean that stuff up as well. So for those of you out there wondering that, absolutely, those are still good foot in the door type things, and you should be using those to reach out in a way to talk to local business owners. So let's look at some. Oh, I like it. Ron says the next Google update will be Ernie.
I actually really, really like the site speed foot in the door so much. I'm actually shooting another video on it right now. I'm working on the video. It's going to be 2-3-part video. But yeah, I mean, it's a great foot in the door. People pay, $300. That's just the entry level. They need it, and it's easy to show them that they need it. So it's a great foot in the door. I still really, really like it, still use it, and I highly recommend it to anybody that's looking for a good foot in the door. And one other thing about the reviews that you touched on, Tom, was that, not only like it's so important to respond to the reviews like how you were talking about, but also when you have good reviews, it brings in other things to your search engine presence, right? Like, for example, if you have, let's go the other way. So if you have negative reviews, what are the chances of people that are actually going to click on your website if they find you? It's not very good, right? They probably don't want to go to your site, especially if there's somebody in front of you or next to you that has good reviews, right? Well, there are things that Google looks at that are positive in your presence when someone goes to your website. So if you get more clicks, that's a signal, right? That in itself is a signal to Google that you're more relevant. So, if you're getting bad reviews because, your customer service isn't good, or maybe your, something to do with your website isn't good, I don't know, that could affect the time somebody spends on your site, right? Which is another ranking factor to Google. So like having bad reviews, like by itself is a not good thing. Obviously, we all know that, but there's a compounding relationship to that in respects to the other signals to Google. So, obviously having bad reviews is bad, and you want to respond to them as best as possible. And that's really all you can do, right? You can respond, like you said, the best as possible. Some people do review gating, and, that's another way you could do things. But yeah, you have to make that decision. So
yeah, and I don't think Google really likes the review gating. And I think it's important too to tell your clients, like if you're doing reputation management and they're getting bad reviews, like you almost got to kind of talk them down off the ledge. Like, hey, we shouldn't be taking these personally. These are an opportunity to improve, right? And this is where, again, we kind of mentioned credibility and authority earlier. Here's another way you can bring that to your clients, because as the person doing the reputation management and seeing these reviews coming in, like you can now go to your client and be like, hey, look, I think there's an opportunity here for you to get better because seems to be a common occurrence, or, and that brings value to that business and shows them too that like you're interested in them succeeding. That's really what you want, right? So like you're not pointing out these negative reviews and going through this because you just want to bash them. It's like, hey, we want this to be better and we want you to get better results. And so it's another great way to just show them that you're truly sincere about helping them, right? And offering some tips and suggestions that they can use to get through it. Because most of them just don't know what to do, right? I see Tammy said on her leads, Nick, that she went to the neighborhood fall festival and talked to the owners of the businesses, and five of them wanted to meet her for more info. Man, that's awesome, Tammy. Every place you go is a prospecting potential. Oh, Nick, you kind of froze up. That's awesome. Let me go down through here. Let's see, Ron. I see Ron working on some individual car salesman websites. That's cool. Based on site speed. Wow, 0.8 seconds. That's awesome, Ron. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, we lost Nick again. Hopefully he'll come back here. So yeah, Kristen has a great question here. So she said, what reputation review management service do you recommend? Reputation Loop was acquired. Yeah, Kristen, so we know Jeff and Zach. We were just hanging out with them in San Diego, and Reputation Loop was something that we recommended because it was just such a great platform, and those guys are awesome guys. But they got bought out by some venture capitalists, and they're making some changes that, just, I don't know, they're just making some changes, right? So honestly, right now, the thing that we're kind of pointing people to if they need that kind of stuff is Reputation Kahuna with David Sprague. David's team over there, like he has a really class A operation. Their support is phenomenal. Their sincere efforts to make their students and people in their system succeed is really great. So I would check them out. Yep, and I think Nick is rebooting right now. Ann says, let's see, SSL, site speed, Google AdWords, review, anything else? Yeah, and those are all really good foot in the door type services, all of those things can be really good. Obviously websites too, right? A website that's not mobile responsive, or a website that looks like it hasn't been updated since 1991. Those are all issues as well. All right, let me get into my banners here again and see what else we're going to talk about. So I think that's a lot of those. Well, let's see. Let's do some Q&A. So any questions you guys have about anything, about any of our courses you're going through? Maybe you're at a sticking point or something you're not clear on. Something you can ask me about. Yeah, and let's see. Andre says, do you have a pricing model for these services? So Andre, a lot of times, we put some pricing tips and things inside our courses. We do have a course just all on pricing because, pricing is such a individual thing, right? Like, I know it's easy to just say like, oh, hey, you can charge $497 for this service, or you can charge $1,000 for this service. But the reality is, like, there's a lot of specifics that go into your pricing. So we have I don't know if I can find the link. Cameron, maybe you can find the link to the pricing and proposals thing, because there's actually like a little worksheet that we have that you go through, and it walks you through like how to figure out your hourly rate, right? And so that's really like where I think most people should start. And what goes into your hourly rate are things like how much money you want to make, what your overhead is, how much, those kinds of things. And once you get this kind of, now I'm not suggesting that you should be charging by the hour, right? But what you can do is, once you have this hourly rate, it just gives you a starting point and a baseline to be able to estimate project costs and things like that. Now, obviously, you're going to have to adjust, right? Like, you're going to do a project and it may take longer than you thought. And so you constantly want to be reevaluating what your rates are and the amount of time that things are taking you and adjusting and stuff like that, right? So Cameron, I know you're on here. I don't know if you can find a link over to that course, but I know we lay all that stuff out there. If you're actually a member of our Shark Alliance or the Path to Six Figures, which would put you in the Shark Alliance too, there's specific training in there. There's a whole section on fee setting and proposals, and we also have that same training in there. This is something that we've been talking about and teaching for a long time, because this was really one of the areas that Nick and I saw that was like, everybody was just throwing out these cookie cutter numbers, like just charge $297 for this, and we tried that, and like we were like, why are we not making money? Well, it's because we weren't taking into account the specifics of our situation, of our market, of our things. So we really wanted to put something together that showed people how to do that. And also, charging a flat fee for a service is not the best thing for a consultant, right? Like when somebody says, here's my project, and you give them a flat fee of like, okay, it's going to cost $2,000 to build this website, you're locked into that price regardless of how long it takes you, right? So there's actually two ends of this pricing spectrum. There's one end where you, the consultant or the person providing the service, is assuming all the risk because you're just giving them a flat fee, right? And so for that pricing strategy to be effective, you have to be effective at estimating with accuracy how much time projects are going to take you, what it's going to cost you to do them, so that you stay within the parameters of what you need to be profitable, right? On the other end of that spectrum, there's a pricing model where you bill the client for hours and all materials and things like that, right? In that instance, the client is assuming all the risk, which they're not going to want to do because it just kind of seems open-ended, right? So there's also kind of a middle in between where you might be able to set parameters and say, hey, look, this is what it's going to cost, but these are the parameters of this project. If we start to go out of these parameters, then we need to, we're going to need to huddle up and readjust. So, thanks, Cameron. Cameron got that in there. Offline Sharks, pricing and proposal shark. Thanks, Cameron. I appreciate that. Let's see. Anne says, I'm preparing a second page for a website. Do I need a second API? So Anne, if you're building a second like influencer site, if that's what you're asking about, you can use the same API. You just create another little thing inside there, but it's the same one. Jana says, what happens when a business is in 3-pack but decides to change business name? So Janice, that's a great question, right? And so if somebody's ranking in the 3-pack and they decide to do something like change their business name or change their address changes or something like that, what's important is there's a reason they're showing up in the 3-pack, right? They probably have good citations and stuff. So what you would need to do is a review of their citations, and wherever their business is listed online, you would want to update the information there so that all the citations match the GMB listing. And that's the way you can keep that going. Cool. Let's see. Terry said I had a problem. Yeah, Terry said, yeah, he had a problem with a client because they kept changing their requirements. Yeah, it's like the scope of Nick and I, we used to laugh. We used to always say that's beyond the scope of this project, because clients do that all the time, right? And so that's why it's very important to try to be as crystal clear as you can when you put a proposal together or you're talking to the client about what you're going to do, of what that entails on your part and what would fall outside of the scope of that, right? Let's see. Ron recommended Anne that you might want to get a new API just to deal with the daily limits, so it doesn't cost extra. That's a good point, Ron. Thank you for bringing that up. Awesome. Those are all great questions, by the way. So did I answer your question about the pricing? I hope that gives you some information that you need and things you can do. When you think about pricing, like a lot of the things are, one, knowing a good hourly rate that's going to help you hit the financial goals you want, sharpening your skills on estimating and knowing how long it takes you to do stuff, or your team and your projects and all that stuff is the other part. And then, I think where a lot of people drop the ball is they set a price and then they just never adjust it. So constantly going back every 30, 60 days and looking at your pricing and saying, hey, does this all match up? Like, here's a project I just completed. This is what I charged. Did I hit, am I hitting my goals to be profitable? So that's all really good to do. Yeah, George calls it scope creep. That's awesome. Yeah. So doing those things, and then remembering as you get busier and you get more clients, and your time is valuable. So don't be shy about raising your prices as you get busier. You should be looking at that too. Like, where are my prices? Do I need to be raising them, and that kind of stuff as well. Hey, I think Nick is coming back. I added you. There you go.
Hey,
you are back.
Yeah, awesome. I don't know what is going on. It might be a little slow because I'm using my phone, but
yeah, actually, the picture looks a lot better than the last time you were on. You're crystal clear now.
You know what? I think the issue is, like, so my MacBook kind of broke. Like, the battery in it started swelling up, and I just ordered the brand new one. Fortunately, it just came out, and I don't know. I mean, it's been working totally fine, but I'm curious as to if that's the issue. Yeah. Anyway, here I am. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no worries. Ben Green says, oh, hey, yeah, any books? Boy, I love talking about books to read. That's for sure. A couple things, a couple books that I've been reading lately. So on the trip to San Diego, here's a couple ones. One is, if you guys haven't read this book, if you're struggling with like just getting going and taking action on a consistent basis, this book is super awesome. It's called One Small Step Can Change Your Life, the Kaizen Way. And Kaizen is like a strategy, basically, where it's all about just you make these little changes. Another book that's more recent, that is this same kind of idea, is called, I have it right here. Where is it at? Hold on, don't go anywhere. Oh, here it is. I know I had it close. It's called Atomic Habits. These are very similar books about the same thing, but this one's a little more modern, but it's the same basic idea. But I really like both of these books. They've helped me kind of like stay in gear and start making some positive changes. When I was at the airport, I picked up Pat Flynn's book called Superfans, and I've only started reading a few pages of it, but it's really good so far. So those would be some books I would recommend if you're looking for just some general business related books. You can't go wrong with any of Dan Kennedy's stuff. Like, I really like his Ruthless Management of Profits and People. I really like his what's the other one I have up there? His time management one is really great. Yeah, those are all good. So there's a few books to keep you busy. Any books you've been reading? I know, Nick, you read a book a while back that I bought, but I still haven't read it, called The Alter Ego. Are you still going through that? Are you still using that, or?
No, I'm done with that. I absolutely still use it. The tactics in it, really, really good stuff.
It's called The Alter
I'm reading
Ego
a book called
Effect.
Titan. Yeah, The Alter Ego Effect. That's a great book. Anybody that's looking to do more, I don't know, just, becoming the best version of yourself, I guess you could say. That book is great for that. Yeah, the book I'm reading right now is called Titan.
That's what it looks like.
And it is about the Rockefeller family. Really good book. I kind of wanted to transition from, I and both Tom and I read so many like marketing books. I wanted to read something more about the journey of an incredible entrepreneur. So I saw this book called Titan, and yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, Zachary says he just got a new 2017 match report. Ooh, awesome.
Awesome,
let's see. So, Ben was asking about, do you recommend OBS or this streaming service? So we really like, this is StreamYard that we're using now, and we really like this. We've never used OBS. Yeah. So
yeah, OBS for other streams, StreamYard just allowed the ability to like stream in YouTube and all that stuff. So that's why we haven't used it.
Yeah. Lavana says she jumped in on our digital agency growth machine special that we're running this week. How can I get the influencer site and software? So Lavana, you should have gotten an email with access to the members area, and all the theme files and stuff are in there. If you happen to get in as one of the fast action bonus takers and you need us to set it up, you can just send a ticket in to offlinesharks.com/support. There's a section there called claim a bonus, and you put it in there. But if you didn't get your access and all that stuff, then go to offlinesharks.com/support and submit a ticket, and we'll get you squared away. Cool. So what's on our radar? What is on our radar these days? Well, there's actually something that just actually came out today that we're pretty excited about, because we like, we're big on prospecting, right? Like if you have a digital agency, like you need to be prospecting, you need to be reaching out to business owners. And so we're constantly looking around for tools and better ways to build lists of leads, better ways to get names of business owners, better services to offer them for foot in the door and stuff like that. And today, some guys we know, they launched a thing called Lead 360, and it's a really great lead finding tool, and it basically uses Facebook. I'm not real sure all the ins and outs. I know it has something to do with like business listings on Facebook, and it's able to pull those in and allow you to sort them and reach out to them and stuff like that. So we actually put together a little bit of a bonus page, just because we think the software is good, right? The software is really good, but we wanted to kind of do something special for the Sharks and stuff like that. So we threw together a little bonus page. I'm going to take a second and show you guys that. If you want to check it out, it's called, here, let me pull up the banner here. It's called Lead Flow 360. So you can go here and you'll see all the info about the software, and then also the amazing bonus package that we put together. I lost you there for a minute, Nick, but you're back. Awesome, Ben. Welcome to AGM. You're going to love that.
Cut out for some reason.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me see. I think I have, if I can find this, I'm going to, here we go. Screen sharing is easiest with 2 monitors. I think I have 2 monitors. Hold on one second. I'm going to try to share my screen here and show you guys something here. So let's see. Here we go. All right. Share my screen. Here we go. So you guys should be looking at my screen there. So this is our bonus page. If you go to the link you see there, offlinesharks.com/bonus 360, you'll see all about the software. There's a demo video on here, but we've also put together a really great bonus package for you guys. So basically Lead 360, it allows you to find unlimited business leads on Facebook, right? It analyzes the Facebook pages and places. There's a social media PDF, an HTML report. It's a really slick piece of software. If you guys are looking for something good and affordable to use a prospect, this is just a great tool. But we also threw in some bonuses for you guys. So one is Local Client Shark, which really covers our CSI method of prospecting. And this is really great if you're looking for a system, you're not really sure where to start and all that kind of stuff. Like we talk about how to identify your perfect prospect, seek out your perfect prospect, and we go through crafting a perfect pitch, right, to bring them in. So you get that. We've got our How to Rank, Rent, and Sell for Easy Profits courses in there. and we give you 5 done-for-you proposals, plus Nick's in-house website design white paper. So this is basically like what Nick sends to potential website clients that helps him close the deals. It's really great. And then our in-house 6-month SEO outsourcing blueprint. So this actually just went live this morning at 11 a.m. So if you want to grab our bonuses, all you have to do is just pick up LeadFlow 360 through our link. So you just click this button. All the bonuses are delivered automatically and all that stuff. But a really great tool. We love it. It works really great. And I think you guys will love it too. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Oh, there you go. I added you back.
I'm back.
You're back.
Embarrassed. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what's going on with my connection issues. I apologize.
Yeah, no biggie. I think we've made it through pretty well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I wanted to say something about LeadFlow 360 too, because this was, and it came out today. Obviously, it was closed. It's been released to the market before a few months ago, and then it's closed. So they reopened it, right? And I know a lot of our sharks have gotten into there, and what I really like about this tool is it utilizes Facebook, right, to get those leads. And there aren't, I don't know if anybody's ever experienced this, but there aren't a lot of good Facebook lead tools, right? Because Facebook makes it so difficult to use any of their APIs, right? They're under scrutiny all the time from all the regulation, and if you've ever used any of their APIs, they constantly shut them down. They tweak them so you can't use them. If you've ever advertised on their platform, you sure as hell know what I'm talking about. It's almost impossible to advertise on their platform. But this tool, it actually works really well, and it works really well with Facebook. So, if you're one of those people out there that you like to have different tools for different jobs, this is a good one for Facebook. One of the only good ones that I know out that exists. So, maybe you can't get to it today. Maybe you can just, have it in your inventory, but it'd be a nice addition. And of course, when I saw this, the way that I wanted to frame it was, let's give all these bonuses away. Let's give all these bonuses away. All you got to do, because the bonuses that we've given everybody that we've added to this are huge, right? That rank, rent, and sell, that's like a course in itself. Really valuable stuff there. And the way that I look at it is like, I'm buying all those bonuses. LeadFlow 360 is really just extra, honestly. All those bonuses are well worth the small, I don't know, what is it, $20 to $30 investment for LeadFlow 360.
Really expensive right now.
Stupid inexpensive. So all those bonuses really, I mean, look at it that way.
Yeah. Yeah, we always like to try to over deliver for you guys, right? So that's always good. Well, I think we're closing in on about an hour here, so maybe we can do a last call for some questions, some Q&A, and then we will let you guys get back and enjoy the rest of your Saturday. We really appreciate you guys taking time to hang out with us. Like these things have been a lot of fun. I'm really glad we're starting to do them. Are you laughing at Cameron?
No, I'm laughing at me. Like these new earbuds, the AirPods, just fall out of my ear.
You're just all discombobulated today.
I'm out of it. It's great.
The Cameron was giving you a hard time. He was like, I thought you're an internet guy. What's up with the dial-up connection?
I don't know. It's sad.
Let's see. Jamil says, will you
evening after this,
speak on how
everybody?
See, Jamil says, will you speak on how to approach a restaurant or carpet cleaner with FitScratch as a foot in the door, and what's a good campaign to start off with? Also, how much would you charge? So, Jamil, I think a couple things on that. So, one, I think for a restaurant or a carpet cleaner, the best thing to do is get it set up on their website, right? So that they can have some kind of offer for when people come to the site, they could scratch to win. That would be the thing that I would approach them about is like, hey, you're getting these visitors to your site. Now we need something to engage them and get them to come in, and using this scratchable thing is a great way to engage them and get them added to your email list. So many businesses don't even collect an email list, right? Like Not only do they not collect one, if they have one, they're not doing anything with it. So what I would go at it from that angle, like, hey, we can start to build this list of people that you can then resend offers to. And, for a restaurant, that should really be just like a no-brainer. Let's see. Terry said, turn the crank on your computer, Nick. It'll run faster.
Thanks, Terry.
Here, I'm going to I'll put that. Here's the link for the Leads 360 thing. Ben says, does the LeadFlow 360 capture emails that can be downloaded to a CSV file? Is there CSV export in there? I don't know if I remember seeing. I know it does emails, but I can't remember if you can export them.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it exports via list. I didn't see that, but what it does is it creates like full PDF reports that are really, really nice. And there's a pro version, full disclosure, right, everybody? Like, there's a pro version. You don't need it, by the way. We forgot to say that. You don't need it. You get everything you need in the front end. But the pro version is an upsell. It gives you the ability to kind of white label everything, put your own brand all over it. So yeah, you get really nice reports. The other thing too is, the team that's behind it, Adrian, right? His software development is killer, and his team is awesome. So I would be really surprised if you came up with a good idea and you made reference, or you asked them about it and it wasn't part of the software already. I'd be really surprised if they wouldn't try to add that in there for you. But don't tell him I told you to go start changing his software. I'm just saying, like,
Adrian's going to tell you what he sees you.
If it's a great and reasonable request, I think it's likely that he will take it into consideration. Everybody hit him up in his support desk to be like, Nick Ponte said that you will add CSV export for me.
Yeah, Cameron had a good thing on VidScratch too. He says, Jamil, the way VidScratch is set up, people can scratch again and again to win. So work with the owner to find an offer that has a decent perceived value, but the business is willing to give away to get a lead. Yeah, I mean, that's a great point, Cameron. Terry says, why not use good ideas? Sure. Yeah. Well, awesome, guys. Well, I think we're gonna wrap up this. We're coming right up on an hour, so we're gonna wrap up this local marketing jam session. We're super excited you guys took the time to be here with us. Well, obviously the recording will be on the YouTube channel and in the Facebook group if you want to rewatch it. If you have any questions, stick them in the chat. Our team and us will monitor that. We'll try to get a response back to you. So really appreciate you guys being here. Nick, I was glad you got to show up for at least a few minutes of it. That's good.
Very funny. Yeah.
Rich Ritchie says he likes these Facebook calls better than the GoToWebinar. Yeah, we're trying to do, like, they both have their pros and their cons, right? So it's nice to kind of do both. So you have a variety of ways that we can interact with you and things like that. So, I mean, I'm sure we're going to keep doing GoToWebinars, but we like to throw these in here each week. So, hey, Tom, you're welcome. Thanks for joining us. We really appreciate you guys being here. Jamil says, thank you. Awesome. Aloha, Ron. Go get some breakfast, maybe take a nap. Nick, go hit the slopes. And I'm going to go. My kids, like, they know I'm doing a live in here and my door is shut, but, like, I can hear them, like, acting like wild animals out there. And I haven't been able to go rile them in. So I'm going to get off this call and be like, what's going on?
I'm going to get off this call and go straight down to the Apple store.
Awesome. Well, again, guys, thanks so much for being here. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. We will see you. We're doing these, by the way, every week. So next week we will be here again, time 5 p.m. Eastern, local marketing jam. Bring your questions. We love to interact with you guys. And we look forward to seeing you next Saturday. And you guys have a great day. We'll talk to everybody later.
I'm going to make it a point to do better next week, everybody. So show up. I'll over deliver on my end for sure. See you guys next week.
All right. Bye, everybody.